This is the Contagious Katz Analyzing the Happening by Morgan Parsons, Joel Blesky, Malcolm Miller, and Kyle Stouter. The movie is only focusing on a group of people and their experiences. It just shows one group and how an outbreak just affects them. Unlike some movies, the happening gives subtle clues that makes the reader have to think and put the pieces together, instead of using camera angles to give off a certain vibe or story. Such as someone saying a thing that people blow off. For example, the guy in the greenhouse hinted that the plants were the ones causing the outbreak, but everyone just thought they were crazy. Another factor they threw in was the mood ring that Elliot grabbed at the last second and had the entire time. All of these are clues done by characters in the story. They're showing off what is going on in the story, instead of using the camera angles to give us hints as to what is going on.
The movie in general is about plants fighting back against humans. The plants release a toxin that makes humans kill themselves. There are a lot of unexplained factors that also go into when, how, and where the plants release the toxins, so it is important to look at the movie and try to read the clues that could point to other potential ways the plants attack. Towards the beginning of the film, Elliot is talking to his class about bees and some of the things that are happening in nature. I don't know if you guys heard about this article in New York Times about honeybees vanishing. This can be used as foreshadowing in the movie. It gives us a first taste of how nature may play a big part in this film. It shows the unpredictability of it and how we can't possibly know how or why some of the things are happening, and we couldn't explain it and can't explain it. Some force, which in people's case is the plants, is trying to get rid of them. It sets the mood for being able to tell that there's no possible way to know why something is happening, and he says that science will come up with a theory but will never fully understand it. One of the things we speculate on was how people's moods affect the way that the plants attack humans. The reason we speculated about this was because of how the director used the mood ring in the film. It is portrayed as a sentimental piece that was able to tell outsiders how people were feeling. Elliot puts it on Jess to see her mood, and then it becomes a central part of the story later. It is used towards the climax of the movie to show how pure human emotions can be. We think it might be pointing to the effect that human emotions had on this outbreak, and how plants picked people out who were bigger threats for them.
For example, they figure out that the plants usually target bigger groups. This could be because bigger groups cause more pollution, can cause more damage, and in general take more from the plants than help them. Whenever they realize this, it is one of the more emotional scenes from the movie, as the humans can hear others killing themselves off camera, but they can't do anything about it. The director just makes you assume the worst by never actually showing what exactly caused this. They show the pain and the worry on Elliot's face. We never see the people actually doing the killing. It leaves a lot to be assumed and lets the audience minds wander. Through this scene, the director makes the audience assume the worst from the context clues that they are given. This makes the plants look as hidden killers, even though they are right there for everyone to see. They are using the best camouflage by hiding in plain sight. This is crucial for a thriller outbreak movie, as it is important to keep the audience guessing and wanting to know what is happening next and why it is happening. One other big thing is in the movie, which was addressed in the filming and actions of humans, was how humans react to high-stress situations. Toward the end of the diner scene, they get a radio broadcast that shows how much of the United States is being affected by the poisonous toxin. After they get this news, everyone runs out and starts going back to their primal instincts of every man for himself. This is a very realistic response to this scenario, as most people would just want to do anything and would stop at nothing to allow them and their families to survive this horrific scenario. This is a really popular theme around most outbreak films. Also, another point of panic or hysteria from an outbreak is that people have to be more worried about being killed than others than they do from the outbreak itself. Examples of this are, you cannot see what is happening, so you do not know if they are killing each other or themselves, etc. Also in the scene, when Julian is in the car going to Princeton, the girl starts freaking out in the car. Julian tries to calm her down with math riddles, but it does not help, and it is too late. The people in the car try to cover up all the vents in the vehicle. Then they look up and there's a slit in the top of the car. It shows how hysteria and panic can spread, which puts others in danger. During this time in real life, there were scares with nuclear power plants and how they believed that they would cause horrible things to happen. This was even hinted at in the movie, that they believed nuclear power plants may have been the cause of this during a news outbreak, when in the end the plants were the ones causing this because they felt as if humans are a threat to them. Also, the plants feed off of people's emotions. This can correlate to the topic of how we treat our environment. This relates to the discussions going on in the world today about global warming, CO2 emissions, and the use of fossil fuels and how it could potentially affect our society. Even though this movie is seen as fiction, the radical sides of government are talking about possible events that are similar to what we saw in the movie. I think the director chooses to do this because population-killing diseases definitely puts fear into people, and putting fear into people grabs their attention and makes them focus more on the subject.
Another topic to look at is the chalkboard in Eliot's room, where it is written, "If the bee disappeared off the surface of the globe, then man would only have 4 years of life to live." Without bees, there is no life because they are essential to the survival of plants. The bees are disappearing because of the existence of humans and the pollution we bring to the environment. We are constantly trying to control nature, and by doing this, we are destroying nature. However, like any other living thing, it strives to survive, and that is exactly what happens when Mother Nature feels threatened. It is seen as the humans are victims, but in the happening, the plants are the victims who are just retaliating. It comes with the disease, or in the case of the happening, it uses plants to kill off people in overpopulated areas to show who still is in charge. Thank you for watching the Kontagious Katz presentation.